What a day of Champions League action, I'm not going to lie. It started, and I feel like I can only start with Juventus Galatasaray. Don't get me wrong, Atlanta Dortmund came close second. However, Juventus, wow, I was actually rooting for them for a certain time in that game, even though I support Inter now. All of a sudden, I just like Inter, I don't know why. And now I've started supporting them for a few days in the Serie A. But Juventus they were losing 5-2 as they go into that game. And they actually managed to get a goal within the first half, which is exactly what they needed. And it looked like all hope was lost when they got a red card. Now, that red card is weird because he doesn't know what he's doing. So the referee gave a second yellow and sent him off, which makes sense. But then the referee is told to look at VAR to bring him back in to give him a straight red card. And that's stupid because he doesn't know what he's doing and he's been sent off already. So why the heck are we doing that? Either way, Juventus kept their mentality, kept their heads, carried on in the game, got their second goal. And they managed to get a third as well with a cross late in the game to tie the game and make it 5-5 on aggregate. And it was going to extra time. That red card, though, took its toll in this extra time and in the first half and second half of extra time. That first half of extra time, they had a great chance. Now, McKennie, or Mackenzie, whatever the heck he's called, gets the ball in the middle of the box and he unselfishly passes it to this Donny who should not be playing football. He passes it and he places it with his left foot. He has the whole goal to aim at. Near post, far post, and he manages to put it wide. Ruins it for Juventus. It could have been 4-3 with 10 men, and they could have been through to the round of 16, making Italy have a better name because recently they haven't been playing well at all, and their knockouts have been horrific because they haven't gone far in the competition, if ever, in recent history. And it just would have been great. And because they missed that chance, Osimhen was deadly at the other end. He manages to make it 1-0 to Galatasaray overall, or 6-5. And they end up finishing the job, putting the nail in the coffin, sealing the deal with 7-5 on aggregate. And Juventus gave it a good fight. But what's the point in a good fight if you can't win the game? They got done dirty. And when a player like that is missing a chance like that, then you can only blame yourselves because you need and you should have won that game against all the odds. That's what I love about these qualifying for the round of 16 playoff matches. There's so many comebacks, there's so many goals, there's so many little things that can happen that is just entertaining as hell. And that's where we go on to the Atlanta Borussia Dortmund game. It was going well for Atlanta. They got the one goal and then they got the second goal at home with the home advantage. And Borussia Dortmund found themselves 3-0 down in the game, but they managed to get a goal, and that goal was beautiful from Adeyemi. I thought the play before that, he did awful, but he manages to get the ball, and then the left foot finish into the far corner was insane. And Dortmund, although they weren't playing well, had hope. They were back in the game. Now, after that, not much happened. Adeyemi didn't really play well. He was the best player probably on the pitch. But Kobel, in the 94th minute, rushes out of his goal, tries to control it. He could have cleared it out. Could have headed it. Could have kicked it out of play. But no, he wants to control it. And then he gives the ball away. He's running back into his goal. The cross comes in. He tries to save it with his hand. The idiot. And then the Atlanta player heads it, or tries to head it, whilst the defender's trying to kick the ball away. And the defender studs his head. He legit studs his head. There's blood everywhere. It's a definite penalty, probably, just because he's bleeding and he's kicked him in the head, even though he might have got the ball. So it did go to VAR, and they ended up getting the penalty and winning the game. But that could have all been avoided, including the injury if Kobel wasn't an absolute idiot and we missed out on extra time and potentially penalties there from a neutral point of view. So What an idiot. Kobel is actually an idiot. And the worst thing is he actually made an awesome save in the first half where Atalanta could have had another goal. So he actually kept them in the game just to lose the game. What an imbecile. And then a closer game was PSG Monaco. So Monaco managed to get the lead early on. PSG don't look comfortable and they don't look like they're going to win this Champions League. I know we said that last year, but this year something's off. Something's not working. It seems like Doué is the only player who wants to turn up and he's their best player. They've got a few injuries as well. Their goalkeeper isn't Donnarumma. So when it gets to the nitty-gritty of the competition, will they survive? I don't know. You need that extra bit of luck. You need that spark. And especially because they've won it. I described them as being full. And I don't think they'll go the whole way. They were starving and hungry last year. And they wanted this competition bad. And this year they're just struggling a little bit more. They managed to get over the line. It was 2-2. It wasn't convincing. It was at their home. But they always struggle against Monaco. But yeah, Desiree Doué. He's a baller. He's an absolute baller. And someone took a long shot and Kvara got on the end of it as well. So their star players are scoring, which is always a good sign because you need them, especially if your defence isn't doing their job. But Monaco were in that game in the first half. At home as well. And away from home. They were always in that game. They only won by 1 goal. And usually PSG, last year, if I remember correctly, they dominated these qualifying rounds. And they ragged the team they were up against. Then we go on to Real Madrid, who didn't look convincing either. I wanted Benfica to win just because of how rubbish Real Madrid are. And Benfica gave it a good go in the first half. And they managed to get a goal. They were 1-0 up quickly. And then Tchouaméni scored a good goal to make it 1-1. Towards the end of the game, Vinny in the second half manages to get his goal. Say no to racism, all that garbage. He's a crybaby. But obviously, say no to racism, I agree with that. It's just the fact that he's making a meal out of it and he's dancing on the corner flag like a right idiot. And he's diving the whole game as well, but you could tell he was up for that game. And I knew Real Madrid were going to win that just because if Vinny turns up, a proper Vinny, a good Vinny, then you can't really deal with him. He's unplayable. He's too good at dribbling. He's too quick. He's got that finesse. He's got the shooting. Arnold played awful. I'm not going to lie. Looking at Alexander-Arnold, he's awful. Rudiger made that back line more solid. You know when it's Asensio and Saddam Huysen? Or Huysen. I shouldn't be trolling or whatever. But I don't think they're good enough. That left back is overrated. Camavinga doesn't do much. Tchouaméni's their best player. Vinny Jr. turns up when he wants. Mbappe is injured. I don't know where the hell Rodrigo is. So my hope and dreams might come through in the next round of the Champions League if Real Madrid get knocked out. But overall, that's how it went. It was a good day of football. And we're going to see what goes on in the round of 16 because this makes the Champions League so much better, these qualifying playoff rounds. We've got more today as well. It just makes it feel like the last 16 or the knockout stages before it's actually started. It's awesome.